How's it going, everybody? Ragaroth here. So, one thing that's been kind of on my mind since we kind of got that huge amount of information from Summer Game Fest with Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is that mystery pre-order character. Now, some of you may know, if you pre-order the game, you get early, well, you unlock all the forms of Gogeta from the Broly movie, as well as DBS Broly unlocked early. But then they also show that there's a pre-order character, kind of with this gold question mark, that they haven't revealed yet, that they're going to reveal at a later date. And all we know is that this is a character that's new to the Tenkaichi series. Now, there's been a lot of guesses as to what this character is. Some of these guesses that I'm going to bring up are ones that kind of maybe are from other people that I kind of just adopted as a possible idea as well. But I kind of just want to talk about some of these characters that I think it could potentially be. Now, the first character on this list is, it's probably the one character that I think could easily be on the base roster, because a lot of these characters on here, I think if they're not that pre-order character, then they're either not going to be in the game or they're at least going to be DLC. But I think there's one character I think has a good chance of being on the base roster. I figured it's just kind of worth mentioning, and that's Super Saiyan Bardock. Now, I guess with Super Saiyan Bardock, I'll probably bring up past pre-order bonus characters and past Dragon Ball games, because he's actually been one before. He was a pre-order character, at least if he pre-ordered at GameStop, for Dragon Ball Z Battle of Z, and then if you pre-ordered at Best Buy, it was Super Saiyan Vegito. Now, I think Super Saiyan Bardock has a shot of being in the base roster of this game. I just think it is possible that they could save him as for DLC. They could save him as a pre-order character, just because he is sort of a movie character. I don't think Super Saiyan Bardock is canon. It's a weird situation with him. However, though, because he's been a pre-order character before, I think that might kind of reduce his chances of being one again. I just feel like every game they do want to maybe try to pick a character that hasn't been used as a pre-order character before. Maybe that's just me, or maybe it's just a pattern I've noticed. As far as I know, no one is there hasn't been a repeat character. Like, maybe there's been a character, but then it was a different form another time. But it's never been like, like Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta was a pre-order character in Xenoverse 1, but Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta has still not been a pre-order character again, though I don't think he has really been in other games outside of Xenoverse 2. But yeah, so I think Super Saiyan Bardock has a chance, but I think as a pre-order character, I don't know if he's the most likely. I would have no problem with it. I love Bardock, and I love that he's getting some transformations now, so I wouldn't mind it. I don't think, I would maybe like something a little bit more, I guess, different, something that I haven't seen already, but I wouldn't mind this, but I do think he's one of the lesser liked. Now, the next one is sort of a group one. I think because they say new to the Tenkaichi series. However, are they counting the Raging Blast games as part of the Tenkaichi series? Because for those that don't know, Raging Blast 1 and 2 actually had characters that weren't in any of the Tenkaichi games. And Raging Blast 1 actually had what-if forms with Super Saiyan 3 Broly and Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, while Raging Blast 2 had Hachiyak, Tarble, Dore, Android 14, Android 15. They are not counting the Raging Blast games as part of the Tenkaichi series, which is tricky to say because it does seem like they are more so kind of paying tribute to the Tenkaichi games with different mechanics and kind of all that, as opposed to the Raging Blast games. But some increments of the Raging Blast games have kind of made their way into this, like kind of the ability to kind of deflect super beam attacks. If they are not counting the Raging Blast series, I think there's a chance it could be one of these characters. I would say probably the most likely would probably be Hachiyak, Super Saiyan 3 Broly, or Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, or I guess maybe Tarble. I mean, I think Tarble would easily be the worst of those, but I think he would have a chance just because he's, Vegeta's brother and all that. Now, I guess with Hachiyak, I guess it sort of depends if we are getting movie characters in the base roster or not. It's still kind of up in the air with that, unfortunately. And Hachiyak is a movie character. Or at least he's usually, I think, considered one. It's a unique situation with his movie compared to, like, Z Broly or Cooler, for instance. I guess it's like, it would be kind of strange if we didn't get any movie characters in the base roster and then we just get Hachiyak, because he's probably one of the most obscure of the movie characters. I don't mind Hachiyak. It would just be strange. But if we did at least get some movie characters, it would, I guess, maybe look a bit less awkward. However, I personally think one of the characters that would have the chance, it would either be Super Saiyan 3 Broly or Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. If I had to say which one I think would be most likely, I would say probably Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, just because, Vegeta is just such a big deal. I mean, he's one of the main characters. He's one of the most popular characters in Dragon Ball. Not to mention, like, he might not be getting Super Saiyan Blue evolved as a separate character, and it doesn't seem like he's probably going to get Ultra Ego, so I feel like this would maybe be a way to kind of give him a bit more extra love. Now, on the subject of Broly, I guess, because we haven't seen Z Broly yet, so like, if Z Broly isn't in this game, and Super Saiyan 3 Broly was the pre-order character, I guess that would be like a way to work around, like kind of get him in the game, but also kind of do something a little different with him. I mean, I would only use Super Saiyan 3 Z Broly. I would never use any other versions of my love, because Super Saiyan 3 is like my favorite transformation. So I welcome any new Super Saiyan 3 form, especially because the only characters that really have it are Goku and Gotenks, and they're not exactly my favorite Saiyans. So I would certainly welcome any more Super Saiyan 3. So, like, it's interesting to think, you know, if Z Broly's in the base roster where they have just Super Saiyan 3 Broly is just kind of a pre-order character. However, though, kind of jumping off of that, there's another kind of form of Z Broly that maybe could potentially be the pre-order character. Probably one of the other less likely ones, though. And that is God Broly from the 4D Dragon Ball Z film. I forget what exactly it was called. Basically, it was kind of this movie in Japan where I think, you know, you see kind of, it's the CGI movie where, like, I think it's from your point of view, you're seeing like Goku fight Broly, and it's this new form of him called, I guess, God Broly. It kind of looks like Super Saiyan 3 Broly in a way. So this would be, again, another way. It's kind of doing something a little different than the Raging Blast games with Z Broly, but also kind of maybe working him in a way that's like, hey, you don't have regular Z Broly, but you have this cool new version of, well, new in quotation marks, version of him. Again, I would not mind this. I think God Broly looks awesome. Again, any Super Saiyan 3-like form, I welcome with open arms. Now, how likely is this? I think very hard to say with this one. I'm going to say probably lesser likely, but you know, I guess crazier things have happened. Now, again, jumping off to another character that's kind of a very obscure sort of movie character, is Ozato from, I honestly forget the name of the movie. It's like Dragon Ball Z Plan to Conquer the Saiyans, or I might be thinking of the Ajax one. I don't know, something like that. He was a character that I think was only in like kind of a OVA game or something like that. It was a very similar instance with Hachiak, and he has actually appeared in Dragon Ball Heroes recently. Now, I personally don't really care for the character's design, and I actually watched the recent thing that he was in with Dragon Ball Heroes, and all he really did was just, you know, he's a powerful threat, of course, but he just kind of takes people's forms and just kind of copies them, which is kind of boring especially for like moveset potential. So like, I don't really see the appeal much here. And again, he's a very, very deep cut pick. But again, you know, he is a character that would be new to the Tenkaichi series. Now, of course, this is also another possibility as well, but this could just be a totally brand new character made up for this game. Think like Android 21 in Dragon Ball FighterZ, or Banyu in Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. It could be something like that, but again, I guess the fact that they say new to the Tenkaichi series does tell me it is an existing character. It's just maybe like, I feel like if it was a totally brand new, never before seen character, it would be like, they'd probably say like it's a brand new character, never before, like just never before seen. You wouldn't even specify the Tenkaichi series part. But again, it's an entirely possibility. I mean, they have been doing it recently, so we can't rule that out. Now, on the subject of brand new characters introduced for games, of course, there is Android 21. She is a very popular one that I do see people suggest could be that character. And I definitely think it's one of the more likely ones. The only reason there's only, I guess, two reasons why I don't know if 100% they would go 21, and that's only because, again, I think they would want to highlight a character that hasn't really been kind of gotten the spotlight in terms of it in this kind of scenario before. And I feel like 21 was kind of like, well, FighterZ was kind of 21's game. And she was sort of a pre-order bonus. If you pre-order the season pass, you would unlock her early instead of having to do story mode. But that's not a huge reason against her being it. It's just again, I think they do want to try to do something different each time. But she has technically not really been a normal pre-order bonus character. And not only that, I guess another thing is which form would it be? Because obviously it would only be one character. And, you know, since Tenkaichi separate, Spark and Zero Tenkaichi separate characters from their forms, they'd have to pick one. I mean, I'm guessing they would probably pick Lab Coat Android 21. I think that's just the more recognizable one. I think it's overall the better choice here, especially because I guess FighterZ kind of started off with playable Majin 21. But yeah, I think she is definitely one of the more likely ones, and I wouldn't mind. I would not mind at all if Android 21 was the pre-order bonus character. I actually personally think she would make total sense as a DLC character, but I also think she works fine as a pre-order character as well. And I love Android 21, so any opportunities to play as her is great in my opinion. Another possibility is Beelzebub from Beelzebub. It's another Akira Toriyama created series. For those that don't know, it just recently had an anime. He would technically be a character new to the Tenkaichi series, and we have had Arale in games before. Granted, Arale has actually been in Dragon Ball more. Like she's actually cameoed in Dragon Ball, I believe, and even Dragon Ball Super. I don't think Beelzebub has. I mean, his dad basically looks like Deborah, but that, doesn't really count, unfortunately. But I think it's definitely a possibility here. I'd be okay with him. He wouldn't be like my top choice, but I think Beelzebub's kind of cool. I think he is one of the cooler non-Dragon Ball characters that Akira Toriyama has made, in my opinion. And it would be nice to see his interactions with Deborah. And now I guess another, possibility is it could be someone kind of like Android 21, where they've been mainly exclusive to a video game, like Toa, Mira, Fu, or Demigra from Dragon Ball Xenoverse, or I guess Dragon Ball Heroes Online with Toa and Mira, because they didn't debut in Xenoverse. Which I would be okay. I would, probably Toa or Mira would probably be my top choice. I guess, I don't know who's the most popular. I mean, Mira is the more of the fighter of at least Toa and Mira. I never really cared that much for Fu. I don't know. I mean, they could pick him. I actually think Demigra would maybe be the most interesting choice, only because he has not been actually playable at all in any of these games. Granted, I would kind of like that more Majin, that kind of Kid Buu sort of form of Demigra that's only in Heroes. I think that looks cooler than his sort of more Kefka-esque look in the Xenoverse games. But I don't think they would pick that version just because I think more people know, the regular Demigra from Xenoverse. Not only that, but unfortunately, I think with Heroes characters, they might have to get some extra permission or some red tape like that. A Xenoverse character wouldn't be the craziest guess either, but I would say probably the game exclusives, it would probably be more likely Android 21. And then since, Tenkaichi, or Raging Blast at least, has done this before, it could be a brand new what if form for a character. They've done Super Saiyan 3 Broly and Vegeta before. Who's to say they couldn't give a new form to they could be boring and give a new form to Goku, and not like he already doesn't have enough already, but I mean, what if they did I was thinking about this, I would love if they did Super Saiyan 3 Future Gohan, or, maybe they could do Super Saiyan 3 Bardock as one. I mean, he's been in Xenoverse 2, but he wasn't a pre-order character, and he's not, so he technically does exist. So Super Saiyan 3 Bardock is one, but I guess it's they'd probably more likely pick maybe a form that was introduced in Super, so maybe either a Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue, or Ultra Instinct form, maybe Beast, but I feel like if Beast Gohan's possibly not going to be in the base roster, they wouldn't give Beast to a character that hasn't even had Beast yet. But I mean, I would love if they did Ultra Instinct Bardock, or Ultra Instinct Super, or Ultra Instinct Future Gohan, and preferably Mastered. I think that would look cooler. Who's another? Because my way of thinking is, it seems like the general trend is that if it's a pre-order character that you can play as, it's usually always a Saiyan character. Or a transformation for a Saiyan character, or something like that. Because it seems like they know that Saiyans are generally the most popular characters that, that people flock to the most, so that's when they usually go with them. Sure, we've had, Banyu as a character in Dragon Ball Z Kakarot part of the pre-order bonus. However, you couldn't actually play as Banyu. She was just a fight. And Android 21, yes, she's not a Saiyan, but again, it was more of just an early unlock, and it was also for the season pass, not for actually pre-ordering the game. Actually, as a matter of fact, pre-ordering the game, the early unlock for fighters was Super Saiyan Blue, Vegeta, and Goku. So again, more Saiyan transformations. So I do think it would, if it was to be a what-if form, or if it's to be a character in general, I think it will be a Saiyan character. The only probably most likely chance of it not being a Saiyan character is if it's Android 21. I think she's the only non-Saiyan character that would, I think, have a shot. In now that I'm thinking about it, kind of more broadly. Now, of course, there's, I think, two other big ones that I did want to tackle. And that is the possibility of it being Beast Gohan or Kid Goku from Daima. Now, these are two completely opposite ends of the spectrum for me. One of them is probably my most wanted. Obviously, you can probably see this figure that suggests that. And the other one is probably my least one in this entire list. I'm going to watch Daima and give it an honest chance, but to be honest, none of the characters seem like anybody that I would want to play as in a game. I'm just not into the more kind of Dragon Ball kind of esque form of the universe. I'm more into the Dragon Ball Z, Super, GT, and that end of the spectrum. Might be a great show. Does not mean I want to play as the characters though. And we already know we were getting them anyway. Now, Beast Gohan is one of my most wanted. And I think there's kind of evidence for and against both of them. I think obviously the easy evidence against is that we know the season pass is going to include characters from Superhero as well as Daima, so you would think, well, they're just going to be in the DLC. Now that's a possibility. Obviously, it's a strong possibility, but like just because they're part of the season pass doesn't necessarily mean that they didn't flat out say, look, there will be no Dragon Ball Superhero and Dragon Ball Daima characters in the base roster, especially because if it's a pre-order character, that's kind of a weird kind of middle ground between base roster and DLC. You're kind of like in the middle, and they're generally probably the character that was added last to the game. Now, I guess with Beast Gohan, I would say like, I would like to think from a marketing standpoint. Well, I know Beast Gohan would probably sell the most of the DLC characters from Superhero. I'm guessing. I don't really know the popularity of Beast Gohan because I do feel like I see a lot of hate that form gets, unfortunately. But I would like to say that instead of putting Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 in kind of the pictures for the Superhero DLC, they would use like Beast Gohan and like maybe Orange Piccolo. That's also kind of frustrating too, because I would like to think at the very least we'd get, they would want Beast Gohan and Orange Piccolo to be first because they'd, attract the most, but they very well could be putting Gamma 1 and 2 in first, just because I guess chronologically they appear in the movie first, even though that's so overly particular, I think, because it's like if you're seeing the movie, you're seeing the movie. It's not like, they're later a split in a later episodes or anything like that yet, but I don't know, maybe the Gammas are very popular. So that is one thing I would think like you would put him front and center. And another thing is I think Beast Gohan would be a very easily kind of, for at least for the most part, a very easier character to develop since you already have forms of adult Gohan. You could just take one of their models, just alter it. I mean, his ultimate is just a blue special beam cannon, so that's already that right there. You already got his voice actor, so it's like. And then meanwhile, I guess, but with Kid Goku from Daima, there is some event coming up that I think they're supposed to be talking about. Dragon Ball Daima appearing in Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. And it's just, this is kind of the thing that makes me think, unfortunately, that Daima Goku is not only the more likely of these two, but unfortunately the most likely character on this list, is that they're having this event talking about Daima being in Sparking Zero. But it's like, if Daima is going to be DLC, and it seems like probably after Superhero, what else is there to really talk about with it being in Sparking Zero? So, and it would kind of be explained why they haven't just revealed that exclusive pre-order character yet. Because you would think, we know about Beast Gohan, why not just show a little picture of him, get people even more hyped? I don't know, maybe they're just waiting for another event, but I do think it does mostly seem to suggest that it will probably be Daima Goku, ideal pre-order bonus character. From the get-go, I initially thought he would make so much sense, but I don't know. Like I said, it could be any of these characters. It could be someone that I didn't mention. I just do think that there's more, I guess, marketing to suggest that it could be Daima Goku, or again, somebody from Daima. I would just assume it would probably be character Goku, of course. And unfortunately, it does sort of line up with the idea that it seems to always be a Saiyan character. And I mean, I do know we got Goku Black as a pre-order character in this universe too. Granted, I'm pretty sure, I might be misremembering the timing. I was pretty sure we at least we've seen episodes of base form Goku Black before he was announced as a pre-order character of this universe too. But I could be wrong. But yeah, I guess that's really it.
Now, there is one other character that did pop in my mind that I've seen a lot of people bring up, and that is Shallot from the Dragon Ball Z, I believe, Legends mobile game. I think he's certainly possible. I mean, so far he has not appeared on a console game yet. I don't really have much of a horse in a race with him. I think he would be cool, nothing amazing. I do know he has other forms, though, so it's like, would he just have his base form, since we know forms are separate characters? That would be a bit of a shame. Maybe not a deal breaker necessarily, though, especially for his first console appearance.
I know I've seen some people say that, like, oh, it's since all the early unlocks are characters from the Broly movie, it'll be like someone else from the movie, like Paragus. I don't think so. I think those are just, I think they just happen to pick those characters for the early unlocks, and I think Paragus would be a very questionable pre-order DLC character. I don't think people are really hyping to play as him, and it's not like I know he can fight, but he didn't really do much in either of the Broly movies. Either of the Broly movies he made an appearance in, Z or Super.
Now, while I don't know if Paragus is too likely, do you know who else was in the Broly movie? Goku's mom! Sorry, I had to. Yeah, I've seen one. Occasionally people maybe throw Gine, is it Gine? Or throw Gine's name into the hat for the pre-order character. And I actually think there is maybe some plausibility here. Now, I know she doesn't fight at all or anything like that, and me personally, I'm usually not that into characters that don't really fight or have some kind of cool abilities. However, I mean, I don't think it's officially been outright saying she can't fight. I mean, she is still a Saiyan. I think it was just implied, you know, she's weaker than Bardock, so she kind of just took the role of kind of being the food preparer and all that in the household. But that's not to say she can't fight. And they could always make up some cool moves for her. I mean, hey, this is the same company that made a move set up for Fasha in Budokai Tenkaichi 3. Character that I don't think really did anything from what I remember. I actually think she'd be kind of cool. I think there's definitely some weight to finally having Goku's mom being playable in a game. I think definitely probably more than like Paragus. Again, I don't know how likely she'd be. I think she is definitely one of the more dark horse of these picks, but I think it's at least worth mentioning her.
But yeah, that's really all I got. So with that being said, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. You know, what characters do you think it could be? Do you think it isn't? Let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And of course, like the video if you like it. Dislike if you dislike it. Definitely consider subscribing if you like this video and some of my others. It would really help the channel a lot and help get me to 1,000 subscribers. You can also check out my Discord in the description below as well. Hang out with me and my friends. Talk about stuff, you know, maybe watch some things here and there as well. But thank you so much for checking out this video. And as I always say, another time, another place. Keep being awesome.